Hi, we are WJSK and we come from the tutorial retreat. Today, we would like to show our video that with the topic initiative to keep the ocean garbage free. Let us begin. One of the most important international marine environmental convention is MAPO 73/78. The MAPO 73/78 is short for the International Convention for the Prevention of the Pollution from Sea, and the current convention, which is combined with the first draft, is 1973 convention and amended in 1978. MAPO 73/78 was developed by the International Marine Organization, or we call that IMO. IMO as a United Nations specialist agency that obligate for regulating the shipping and the form on 17 March 1948. The MAPO 73/78 is effective on the 2nd October 1983. According to the research, there are 158 states are parties into the convention in year 2018. Those countries such as China, Australia, South Africa, India, Singapore, Malaysia, and so on. MAPO is divided into the different annexes, and the Annex 5 is more relevant to our assignment topic. MAPO Annex 5 as regulation for prevention of pollution by garbage from ship and the policy formed on 31st December 1988. The purpose of the Annex 5 is to minimize and eliminate the amount of the garbage being dumped into the ocean from ship. The application of the MAPO Annex 5 is applied for all the ship which is operating in the marine environment. In the Annex 5, the garbage is categorized with different types such as plastic, food waste, cooking oil, operation waste, fishing gear, and more. Besides that, the ship within the spatial area and a ship outside the spatial area are totally different regulations. For example of the spatial area are
Mediterranean Sea, Baltic Sea area, Black Sea area, Red Sea area, Antarctic area, North Sea, Gulf area, and wider Caribbean region.
Based on this table, it shows that the approach of discharge the garbage in the ocean. The Annex 5 is worded like this. For example, the crew need to discharge the food waste, which has commuter by commuter. When the ship is voyaging in the spatial area, the crew need to check the distance between the ship and the nearest land, whether the ship is more than or equal 12 nautical miles far from the nearest land. Then the discharge is permitted. All of the food waste had been commuter may discharge to ocean because it may easily to dissolve in the shortened time, and it also does not contain any trace of the pollution to ocean. However, if the food is not commuted, it is totally prohibited of discharge in the ocean within the spatial area. There are another regulation which is discharge the different type of the garbage at the different area need to follow by the crew, and it can be found in this table. Most of the garbage is prohibited discharge in the ocean because it needs spend a lot of time to fully dissolve. Those garbage such as plastic, cooking oil, operating waste, glass, metal, lining, which are totally prohibited to discharge in the ocean, either ship is within the spatial area or the outside spatial area. Besides that, the garbage record book as one of the content in the MAPO Annex 5 that consists of all of the record of the garbage disposing and discharging of the garbage. The garbage record book provides the tracking that are able to track what happened to the garbage. However, for those who violate the regulation will be fined and the penalty. For example of the Singapore, the penalty out to 20,000 Singapore dollar and or maximum 2-year prison period if being found that the master of the Singapore ship violate or break the regulation of those policy that pollute the sea by certain garbage. There are some certain criticism in my viewpoint. In my opinion, the MAPO 73/78 Annex 5 has mentioned that the state the sufficient and adequate of the policy and the regulation. It also clearly mentioned the regulation of discharge the garbage in the sea. Besides that, the policy also mentioned that there are certain garbage are totally prohibited discharge in the sea, and this can reduce and eliminate the risk of pollute the sea. However, the approach of record the garbage that have been discharged in the sea or reception facility is using the old-fashioned approach. It may occur certain human areas such as forget to record, or incorrect record the amount of the garbage, unclear the typeface, and so on. In the other hand, the penalty and the punishment of the violation is too gentle and light. It will lead the shipmaster will ignore the policy and pollute the sea again and again. That's all from my part. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about another policy that has been used to keep the ocean garbage free, which is the London Dumping Convention. The occurrence of garbage like plastic bag, plastic bottle, drinking straw, and so on in the ocean is mainly due to the reason of littering and dumping. London Dumping Convention has been used globally to keep the ocean clean with a goal of keeping the ocean out of garbage. It approaches to the goals by controlling the source of pollution, and it takes all practical actions to avoid the ocean from being polluted by illegal dumping or littering. London Dumping Conventions, all the dumping activities are prohibited. However, there are exemptions which some kinds of waste or garbage are allowed to be dumped to the sea. The garbage or waste that are allowed to be dumped are listed in the so-called reverse list, which include the dredged material, fish processing waste, bulky items like iron, steel, concrete, and so on. However, the dumping of garbage listed in the reverse list are not always illegal. It only will be legal when permit is obtained. Under London Dumping Conventions, the incineration of waste on board or in the sea area will also be prohibited. This is because after the incineration of waste, the ashes or cinder will be generated, and these residues will be very light in weight. It will be blown up in the air and then dropped into the ocean. When it drops into the ocean, it will contaminate the ocean. Another prohibition, which is the exporting of waste to the other countries. Many countries are exporting their waste to the other countries because it is low in cost, and the other countries will help them to settle their waste. Normally, Western countries are the countries that export the waste, and Southeast Asia countries are who importing the waste. According to the statistics, United States is the largest country of exporting the waste, and according to the United Nations figures, there are at least 100 million tons of plastic waste has been leaked into the ocean because of the exportation of plastic waste from United States. This is why exportation of waste is prohibited. Any violation of this policy will lead to fines or penalties. There is no any policy able to perfectly governing the country as well as London Dumping Convention. So here are some criticism about the London Dumping Conventions. Firstly, London Dumping Conventions never state that all the vessels must install equipment or management systems to monitor the dumping activities of the ship. For example, CCTV, dumping records, and others. Without these equipment or management systems, it will be very difficult for them to manage or monitor the dumping activities of the vessel, because the vessel will navigate or sail into the ocean, which is very far away from the shore. Then, due to the reason that population is keeping on increasing, the plastic waste generated will also be increased. The prohibition of waste exportation will lead to the waste being accumulated in the country, and this will be a very serious problem, especially for the developing and developed countries. This is because the waste being accumulated in the country will occupy a lot of landfill, and this will heavily affecting the development of the country. That's all from my part. Thank you.
Now I would like to talk about the advantages based on the policy stated. For the MAPO Annex 5, Garbage Record Book plays an important role in recording all the details of the garbage disposing. With that, it may bring advantage to a ship when the local authorities are checking the origin of the dumped garbage. If the ship personnel can account for all their garbage accurately, they will not be wrongly penalized for disobeying the rules of dumping the garbage. For instance, when a ship discharges the cleaning agents which are not harmful to the sea and record it to the garbage record book, therefore the ship is able to provide the evidence indicated that the cleaning agent used is actually not harmful to the marine environment. Other than that, under the international conventions such as MARPOL and London Dumping Convention, the actions of intentional dumping of waste from ship is changed since the regulation came into the force. The regulations of this convention have significantly reduced the intentional dumping of waste from the commercial shipping. Then improvement in waste management on vessels also keep going on through the training programs. Through the convention, it brings to the economic benefit derived from the international ocean trade, commercial and recreational fishing, production of seafood, and also the tourism activities as well. Now I'm going to discuss about the disadvantages. First, additional costs such as cleaning costs, fuel costs, and other expenses will incur for the ship owners or charters, buyer and seller under the international sale contracts. When there are waste products being dumped into the ocean, other than the penalties implied, cleaning costs also incurred to the parties involved. If the cleaning of dumped waste impossible to conduct, there will be more costs and time associated with the disposal of waste incurred for the in-charge parties. Fuel costs also increase when the ship can only dump the waste such as the comminuted food waste to the nearest land area such as the port. When the ship voyages in the spatial area and thus increase the distance of the original route of the ship. When the route increases, the risk of the delay or loss of the cargo during the voyage period will also increase and cost to the spending of unnecessary expenses such as the compensation for delay or damage of cargoes to the customer to retain their loyalty. Furthermore, it will also increase the workload of the crew in the ship. This is because additional activities such as the schedule the route for dumping area, approval of permission to dump on the land, and recording for documentation activities are burden to the crew on the ship and in port, as these dumping waste processes are time consuming and require the labor force. Hence, it shows that the effectiveness and efficiency to transport the cargoes will be affected and productivity for improving and maintaining the operation on ship will also be decreased. Now, I would like to pass to my teammate.
Now we'll continue with the area of improvement. Improvement in legislation for policy made must be considered. According to statistics and facts from Condo Perry in 2021, an estimated 8 million tons of plastic enter our ocean every year. The fact that targets set out in comprehensive proposal are not legally binding is a major political constraint on strategy and cause the community to be less liable. Thus, strengthen and standardization the law and regulation in global countries needed to be carried out in order to enforce the garbage-free concept. In addition, ocean users also will not be confused by different laws implied by different countries or cities and take the advantages of the legal loophole in order to avoid their responsibility. Another improvement can be made is marina debris monitoring methodologies. This methodology is very significant because it can improve in governing the ocean pollution by determining the pollution level and the source of pollution. For example, citizens can take part in the countrywide beach survey via submitting their data and information. In both of the policy mentioned above, they do not holistically control all the aspects of ocean pollution, such as garbage created by tourists. So, by improving the marine debris monitoring methodologies, the ocean pollution management by policy can be more comprehensive. Now, I will continue the presentation with the suggestion for betterment towards sustainability. One of the suggestions is to implement new technology in order to cope with the pollutant problems. Sea-beam project is an effective way to clean the plastic pollutant in waterways. Sea-beam project function as floating dustbins skim the water surface by pumping polluted water into the bin. Trashes will be trapped inside the bin and the clean water will be filtered out. In the year 2020, Sydney has adopted this project in their Smart City program by scattering 20 sea-bin units across Sydney Harbour, and get the result as sea-bin have filtered 50 million litres of water in the year of 2020 and collected average 81 kilograms of pollutants per month. The operation cost for sea-bin is only $3 each day and it is made from recycled material. Hence, every country is encouraged to adopt this project to promote and prolong the sustainability of the ocean.
Other than sea-bin, the interceptor also adds new technology to collect the waste from the river before they're flowing into the ocean, and this new technology has adopted by few countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia.
Similarly, the trashes will guide by the barrier built and flow towards the interceptor, and then the trashes will be brought out by conveyor belt into the interceptor and being dumped into the dumpster. Distribution of trashes across 6 giant dumpsters, which act as a buffer for trashes before they're being disposed on land. And then, collected waste product will be disposed and recycled on land site. This technology can be operated day and night autonomously with solar energy and considered eco-friendly.
On the other hand, the second suggestion is people can be urged to participate in non-profit organizations or events that are aimed at protecting the marine environment. For example, people can actively join the OCEANA, which is the largest international organization focusing on ocean conservation and maintaining the sustainability of the ocean. Since the plastic pollution become a global crisis, OCEANA prevent the plastic pollution from the source by calling the company to quit their habits of using plastic and provide the consumer with the free plastic alternative. Other than OCEANA, people can join Plastic Pollution Coalition and Oceanic Society or international events such as International Coastal Cleanup, in which community will work together in order to clean up the trash along the coastline. In conclusion, ocean is vital for balancing the ecosystem and is beneficial for every living thing in the world. So, instead of implementing tons of policy, the most important action needed to be taken are critique the problem and loophole of the policy, then try to modify until the policy make the goals to be required. Moreover, cooperation among countries, cities, states, and community are essential in order to keep the garbage-free ocean concept. In the end, everyone is responsible to put more effort to keep the ocean garbage-free and save the ocean for next generation. That's all from our group. Thank you.